So slowly I started realizing how much, I don't know, happiness and passion of mine lies in weightlifting.
So hey guys, this is Shoaib and I'm back with another video, and today I'm starting this new series called The Rising Stars, and where I will interview different athletes from the fitness industry. And today I have my first guest, one of the hardest working women that I know from the fitness industry, and she has been featured in the Cult Fit and also a part of genetic nutrition. So welcome Snigdha to this new series. You are my first guest. Uh,
Thank you for having me.
so it's an honor to have you actually.
Thank you so much. It's actually so nice. I was telling my mom today, I'm like, I have an interview, and she's like, oh, I'm like, so it's really cool for me to be here too. So thank you so much. So the thing is, I love Annabelle. Like, she is one of my role models. So when you told me that, so I know you interviewed her, and I saw your interview with her too. And then when you asked me, I was like, oh wow, okay. So that interview was amazing. She's a brilliant woman. She's so smart, so hardworking. Like, she has to be one of my role models. I really love her.
So, Snigdha, I want to start this interview by asking to give us where this journey to fitness industry started for you. Like you have been doing this for how many years? Right?
Almost 5 years.
Okay.
Almost 5 years.
So, where your love for fitness and all this came from? Like, where did your journey started?
So, what happened was I used to struggle with a lot of acne, and I have PCOS. So, because of the PCOS, I used to struggle with acne, and I was pretty fat. I was always very fat, mostly because of my bad eating habits. So, my mom is the one who encouraged me to go to the gym because she used to work out. So, she's like, you know what, just come to the gym. I still remember my first day. I was so hesitant to go in there. Like, I walked to the gym and then I walked back home. I'm like, I'm not doing this. And then my mom introduced me to cardio. I used to do a lot of cardio. And then one of my exes introduced me to weightlifting. So slowly I started realizing how much, I don't know, happiness and passion of mine lies in weightlifting. So yeah, now I learned a lot throughout. Initially, my form was so bad. I used to lift heavy weights with the worst form, like how most of us start out. But yeah, from there it's just all been good.
So, were you into any kind of other sports when you were small in your childhood? Any other sports?
Oh no, so I actually made a post about this. I hated sports. I bloody hated. Like, I every PT period, my PT teacher used to scream at me and go, "Why don't you come?" Every PT period, my best friend and I would make the weirdest excuses to miss PT. So I would constantly have a stomach pain because I wanted to miss PT. So both of us would never attend PT. I never ran. I never played sports. I hated sports. I went to basketball classes. I quit in 2-3 days. I went to swimming class. First day out, quit. So sports was never my thing. So it's weird for me also to actually be in bodybuilding.
Even mine, actually, I was so bad in sports. Like, I used to participate in only one thing, 100-meter race, and I was always the last man to come there. I was so bad at sports. So, Snigdha, as you said that you have started your journey 5 years back. So, initially when a girl starts, that I have seen in 90% cases, when a girl starts gymming, the one thing that they do is their focus is mainly on the fat loss, and they want to lose weight very quickly. So, was there an initial point where you also did this mistake of, not eating so much and then, leaving and your health go, how unhealthy it is to actually eat nothing and starve yourself and lose weight? What's your take on it?
So, like you said, I started exactly like this. I was eating every day. I would eat only dal and cucumber. So somebody told me cucumber is good for health, dal is good for health. These are the only two things. Now I'm a vegetarian, so dal was the only option I had for protein. So all I had was dal, all I had was cucumber, and then I started eating eggs. So I would eat one omelette a day. These three things, that is it, right? So I was eating probably 400, 500 calories. I saw drastic weight loss, and on top of that, because of my PCOS, I was on this tablet called metformin. So metformin, it releases insulin in a sustained manner in your body. So it kind of helps you lose weight faster because it doesn't let your insulin spike. So because of that, you start releasing insulin in a sustained manner. So you will lose weight, right? So I lost a lot of weight initially and became skinny, like so skinny. I would be in the gym. I constantly felt like fainting. I would have blackouts all the time. And I was like, why is this happening? Maybe I have some underlying condition. I went and got my heart checked because I thought that it's because of that. And then I started realizing the importance of food. But even in between, when I started eating more, I started putting on weight, obviously. I never knew that balance that had to be there, how many calories I had to eat. So it was either 500 calories or 2500 calories, no in between. So a lot of girls start that way, and I have been in that place too. And the thing is, when you start seeing results when you eat less, you naturally want more results, so you start eating less. But it is not that way. So that's what I teach all my clients, that you do not have to be eating less in order to lose weight. You just have to eat in the right proportion to lose weight, right? You shouldn't be afraid of carb, you shouldn't be afraid of fat. And protein is not the only macronutrient there is. There are the other two macronutrients which, if you focus on in a good way, you will see results, and that too without losing muscle. Because a lot of times when you are on this very restricted diet, whatever muscle you have built so far, it will break down. You will lose muscle, you will overtrain, you will not be in good health. Like I said, I was eating so less that I felt like fainting a lot, and a lot of girls go through it. And I get it. I mean, I see the point in it, but I think it will take a while for people to realize that it is unhealthy and they should change their ways. But I think it will happen. There's a lot of awareness now, and a lot of people are realizing that good eating habits are important. So they're finding coaches, they're choosing coaches. So yeah, I think there is change, but it'll take time.
Actually, this thing that most drastic thing that I've seen, one of the girls that I know personally, she used to have only 3 scoops of protein in a day and nothing else. 3 scoops of protein in a day, nothing else. She thought that protein is the only thing that will help in fat loss. And if she takes carbs, she's gonna get fat and all those things. So it was the main thing that I realized that what's happening. She went to hospital one time and she's doing the same thing right now.
Oh man, she's still doing the same thing?
Same thing.
Oh man.
Snigdha, so
But
you
it will
have
take time.
really, it will take time, to make people realize that it's not about starving, it's about eating the right way. So, Snigdha, as you have coached many people here right now, so what do you think that how to be a good coach? Uh, where do coaches go wrong?
I feel like, okay, so understanding your client is very important. A lot of coaches that even I have seen have almost the same diet chart with different macronutrients. Like the macronutrient part, they will be right. The calorie part, they'll be right. But under that, the food groups, especially if they're giving a meal plan, they apply the same meal plan to almost every client. So the same food groups are there for everything. Meaning there will be rice, there will be chicken, there will be broccoli, there will be oats, there will probably be dal. That's all. They won't try to realize what the convenience of a client is. And the thing is, when it comes to fat loss or muscle gain, like we all know, consistency is key. If your client is not able to enjoy something and they're not eating what they like, they're not going to sustain. Like, they are going to give up maybe after a 4 to 5 week mark. They're just going to be like, no, I don't want to be on this because it's too restrictive. And a lot of diet charts that I see, a lot of coaches that I see don't include any of these fun foods. When I say fun foods, like, all my clients get this little serving of chocos every single day. And who doesn't love chocos, right? Every day post workout, they get chocos. You don't like chocos?
I hate the taste.
How can you not like chocos? Okay, so that's the thing. So whatever they like, right? So one of my clients, like the one whose transformation I posted, he loves pickle. He told me he loves pickle. So with every serving of his food, there will be pickle, so that he enjoys what he's eating, right? So I think that's what's important. See, if you follow an IFIM method, anything can fit in your macros. Literally anything. All you have to do is balance this out. You can eat. So there was this one WNBF champion, I think this woman, before competing, every single day of her life before her competition, she ate one Snickers bar to prove that if you fit things within your macros, you can win a competition. And she went and she placed in a competition by eating the Snickers bar every day in her diet. So this comes to show that all you have to do is fit things in your macros, and a lot of coaches fail to realize that. Like, I understand that you want to make your diet very micronutrient dense, but let the clients have fun. Ask them what their preference is. Not everybody is going to be able to eat 2 kgs of chicken in a day. So I think that's very important. A lot of coaches also impose protein powders on their clients. See, I first ask my clients, so I'm like, hey, do you want to take a protein powder? If they say no, I will be like, okay, it is important, especially if they're a vegetarian. I will tell them that it is important. But say they eat meat, it is okay. It is completely fine to not take it, because I will get you protein intake with meat and probably a few vegetarian options alone. So I feel like not understanding client is one of the biggest mistakes that most coaches make.
Snigdha, so what has really been the difference between, before this lockdown period, there was a way of training, and right now there is a lot difference after this lockdown in training. So, what difference you have? Whatever training is right now, you are introducing while this lockdown. So, so that you can actually, can you think that during this lockdown period, can someone gain muscle staying at home, or prevent muscle loss during this time?
See, here's the thing, right? Prevent muscle loss? Absolutely, yes. They can prevent it to a large extent. For example, you see Annabelle, she looks amazing, and all she's doing is home workouts too, right? So, keep your protein at least at 1 grams per pound. Your nutrition has to be on point, and your try to be around maintenance. I wouldn't suggest, I will come to the training part. I wouldn't suggest a deficit, because you will probably lose muscle because of eating lesser. But gaining right now is not a very good option either, because when you are not progressively overloading, you may put on some fat, right? So and the thing is, with very limited equipment and limited style of training, it is pretty difficult to progressively overload, right? Especially when you are not competing or you don't have a goal and you just too much training, it is pretty difficult to stay focused. So what I would suggest is try to follow a full body split at least 4 days a week, and maybe go for a walk and get a little bit of cardio kind of thing in maybe 2 days a week, and take a day of rest. So this 4 days a week, when you're training full body, try to incorporate at least 6 to 7 variations. And if you have heavy weights, if you have a decent amount of weights, maybe about 70% up to 70% of your 1 rep max, then try to stay within 6 to 12 reps, and go to failure only in your isolation. Isolation movements. Don't go to failure on everything, because you will fatigue, you will not be able to recover. And a lot of body weight movements are amazing. You can go to failure on body weight movements like push-ups. If you have a pull-up bar, you can do pull-ups. You can do pistol squats. You can do air squats. You can exhaust yourself over there. But even if you have weights, try to utilize it in a good manner. Try to incorporate more tempo in your movements. Try to not go to failure every single time, because the biggest mistake that I made was the first day of lockdown. I maxed out on all my weights. All my weights. I had a 12 kg kettlebell. I had 2 kgs, 3 kgs. Everything 160, 70 reps. I did everything. That was the biggest mistake I made. So don't do that. Set a baseline, start slow, and then slowly, progressively overload. And by this, I mean not just increasing your weights, but progressive overload can be of different types, right? Not just increasing your weights. You can increase your sets, you can increase your reps, you can increase your tempo, you can change around your tempo, you can change around your workout styles. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just don't go crazy on the very first day and keep maxing out all the time, because if you do that, you will not be able to progress over time.
In terms of diet, do you think that someone should, actually focus on staying on maintenance at this period? During this period, do you think that someone should actually change their diet and come into the maintenance rather than just eating into uh, calorie surplus or calorie deficit? They should eat at a maintenance. Do you think that?
Definitely. I definitely think that you should stay on a maintenance in order to preserve muscle loss. See, because like I said, you see, if you go on a deficit, there is always a high chance of losing muscle, because you won't be able to match your training volume because you do not have enough weights. Now, if you want to gain weight, again, you have to be able to lift heavy and progressively overload. You're not going to be able to do that, meaning both ways, either a caloric deficit or a caloric surplus, you're not going to be able to progressively overload. And that is the key to training, right? If you stay at maintenance, you are eating a good amount, you are mentally satisfied, and even physically, you are at some point where you are at, like whatever you finished training with. So for example, it's been what, almost 2 months that you've stopped training, right? You can maintain some amount of that without gaining fat or losing muscle. And right now, I think that's the most important thing to do. Don't become fat, don't lose muscle, just stay where you are and focus on training with whatever you have. And the thing with maintenance is, because it's a lot of food, people are also mentally satisfied. So they feel like, okay, like if you follow an IFIM method, you can fit anything within your macros and stay within maintenance, right? I eat the packet of biscuits every single day, so you can just do that. Like, all you have to do is track your calories and stay in maintenance.
Right. In terms of strength, after this lockdown, I think some people will lose strength, and that's one thing that makes some people go into crying and everything. So, how to actually bounce back when it comes to strength after the post lockdown.
Uh, So the basic thing is muscle memory. So this is something that's all over the internet now, and it is very true. So your muscle tissues, so muscle fibers have something called myonuclei that builds up over time when you work out. I'm putting it in the most simple way possible and not getting it too complicated. So muscle fibers have something called myonuclei. These myonuclei are basically your best friends. Once you bounce back into training, the myonuclei will help you gain back your muscle size. So, and way faster than you would have taken to build it previously. So for example, if you took almost a year to build a certain amount of muscle, within say 3 to 5 months you can gain back that muscle very easily, right? So if myonuclei is your best friend here, and it has muscle memory, lasts for almost 12 to 15 years, or even forever, apparently. So don't worry about that. Once you go back into the zone, you eat right, you have a good training program, don't overtrain. And another thing that I see happening is people going back to the gym and immediately hitting their PRs on the very first day because Josh. So don't do that. Please try to program your workout in a way that you are slowly moving ahead up to that point, because if you go directly into your zone and start lifting hundreds and 120 20s, you are going to enjoy yourself. So, if you have a coach, please consult with them. If you don't have a coach, progress very slowly as if you have never lifted before and this is the first time you're doing it, right? Start slow, start light, and progress. Try to keep testing your PRs, but only at a later point when you're more confident about your movements. Because lifting is not just about lifting a weight, right? There's a lot of things involved. There's neuromuscular adaptations, there is motor recruitment, there is skill, there's a lot of factors involved, right? And when you stop working out for a while, all of that goes away. So I'm not gonna periodize a program over here, but going slowly is what is gonna make you gain your strength again.
If you want to get trained by Snigdha herself, go to her Instagram ID. I will link it down below. You can contact her directly from there. And one more thing that I want to ask, a darker side, if you can say that people are they are fit, but do you think that it's also important to work on mental fitness?
The thing, okay, so I agree with you, but this took me very long to realize. I have struggled with anxiety for a very long time now. I have been open about it, but not very open about it, because a lot of people spoke to me and they told me that they struggle with anxiety too. So I thought it's very important to speak up. So I have struggled with anxiety for almost 3 to 4 years. I remember vaguely going to the hospital one day because I thought that my heart's gonna fail, and I rushed to Narayana Hridayalaya. They took an ECG, and turns out it was just anxiety. But the thing is, mental fitness comes from a place of accepting yourself, and especially in the fitness world, body dysmorphia, eating disorders, and not appreciating the progress that you have made over time, it's very common, right? Especially we bodybuilders, they're never happy with how much muscle we put on or how lean we look. So at some point, we start hating our bodies. So I have put on a lot of weight in this lockdown because bad eating habits, and I struggle with binge eating. I have horrible eating disorders. But the thing is, you have to be more forgiving, and that is something even I learned with a lot of time and patience, that you should forgive yourself. Like at the end of the day, you are the one who made that choice. So you should also forgive yourself for making that choice. So mental fitness is something that comes over time, and I see lacks in the fitness industry because we are all so critical about our bodies and constantly compare ourselves to other fitness models, and we don't think about how we have made so much progress since the time that we started, right? You go through Instagram and you see these people with abs and huge arms, and I get it. I feel extremely insecure too. I'm like, oh, I look so much. Why don't I look like them? But at the end of the day, I always look back at how much progress I have made in these 5 years, how much more I have been able to lift, how much more I have control over my eating habits, how happier I am, and how grateful I am. I think people are not grateful enough, and that's where the problem comes. Like when I got my rod the other day, the first thing I said to myself is, hey, I'm so grateful to have this. So I think forgiveness, discipline, gratefulness, these are three things that will get you to places and keep your mind at a happier state. And yeah, I think fitness changed my life. Like I mean it when I say it. It changes lives. It really makes you a better person.
Snigdha, I want to ask one last question before ending this interview. That what do you think is the some of the mistakes that you have done in your fitness career that people can learn from?
First thing is under eating. Please, like, understand that eating less does not mean losing more weight. Yes, you will lose more weight initially, like I did. Like I lost a lot of weight, and a lot of you watching this know for a fact that when you eat too less, you will lose weight. But it is not sustainable. It is not good for your body. It is not good for your mind. And at some point, you will bounce back to where you started, and you will, I don't know, you are gonna lose your mind eating so less. So if you do not know how to program your workouts, if you do not know how to eat, invest a little, get a coach. I mean, I don't say it because I'm a coach, I say it because I don't want any of you to repeat the mistakes that I have made. Get a coach, invest in yourself, and start eating properly. Two, I would say working out. I see a lot of people, especially initially, going crazy with the weights. Um, Learn to program a workout. If you can't, again, go get a coach. And the thing with lifting too much weights is initially there's a lot of adrenaline, you feel happy, you get those noob gains, but you will enjoy yourself if you go too crazy. And if you enjoy yourself today, think about all the progress that you could have made over the years which you are missing out on, right? So I would say very early on, get a coach, ask them to guide you, and pick a coach who has an idea of what they're doing and somebody you can trust, somebody you can look up to, because it is probably the best investment that you can make. Three, please don't fall for any fad diets. The only thing that's going to help you is a calorie deficit. I'm going to get a lot of crap about this, but all this keto, low carb, and all are not going to help you. At the end of the day, you are just in a caloric deficit. You can do that by eating carbs too. So don't fall for any of these crash and fat diets because they're not sustainable. They're not going to last you for a long term. Keto, yes, maybe you can try it for a few months, but it is not going to sustain you or last you for a long run. So no offense to
I have
anyone.
tried keto. I have tried keto actually, and that was one thing I could not sustain. 1 month after I gave up, I gave up. It cannot be because
Exactly.
uh, carb is the source of energy, and if I leave that, how can I live?
Exactly, and it's so yummy. Why do you want your diet to be sad? And what? Why would you want to put a stick of butter in your coffee? I'm sorry, I know this is gonna get me a lot of hate, but don't don't fall for these things when you cannot sustain them. Any diet, like he said, any diet. Do something that you can follow for the next 5 years. Think about it. Can I do okay? Not even 5 years. Think about it. Can I do it for the next year? If you think you can't, don't. Don't even think about it.
Even I, right now after doing keto, my mind was so fucked up that I just gave up. I started doing a little amount of carbs, protein, everything, but I don't need that thing again. Like I don't want that in my life again.
I completely, and I don't know how can you eliminate a whole macronutrient group from your food. That too carbs, man. I love carbs. Like I can't live without carbs.
Even me, one of my favorite carb sources are chow mein, uh, then noodles, of course, many more.
Pizza,
Pizza, no, completely hate that. Completely hate that. What are your favorite, binge foods, fast foods? What are your favorite fast foods?
chocolates. Love chocolates. Chocolates are all I need in my life at this point. Like cake and chocolates are everything. So this conversation, see, both of us are fitness enthusiasts, and if we are telling you that eating cake is okay, eating chocolate is okay, believe me, it is okay. Like we ended up fine.
I want to say a really good story. Like 10 days before a photo shoot, I had on January 28. It was my birthday on January 18, and I ate a whole cake alone. So understand that.
Happy belated birthday. I did not know you. So sorry. Happy belated.
Yeah, actually, that was the thing. Means I never stop myself. Once a time it's okay, but starving yourself is not correct. When your mind wants, do it, but not like daily. Daily becomes an unhealthy thing.
Moderation. Everything is just moderation. Don't like now that we said yeah, eat cake. Please don't eat a whole cake in a day. It's just that you can fit a slice of cake if you feel like eating it almost every day in your diet.
You
Trust
know
me.
that whole cake that I ate was because of from the last 2 months, because I had a transformation challenge. In 2 months, I have to transform myself, and I was suffering a shoulder tear. I was having a shoulder tear. After that, I started with with one hand I was doing pull-ups and everything that I could do, and there was very little carbs. And that day I was feeling so good having that thing in my mouth, that cake.
Yeah, you get a lot of energy too when you have carbs because carbs are fuel for your body, right? That's the reason pre and post workout you have carbs because they're such a big fuel for your body. They're very important. I know there's gonna be a lot of people in the comments who are gonna hate us, But honestly,
But that's the truth,
right, I
right? They have to
don't
understand that we are
want.
also humans. People, much people have seen that they start eating boiled chicken and all those things. That's not needed. You can make that good and tasty.
You can make it tasty. See, a lot of clients also ask me, they're like, hey, can I add spices? I'm like, absolutely, cook it however you like. I don't see what's the point in not adding spices to your diet. Like, so basic. Like, especially Indians, we love spices. All our diets are full of spices, man. Unless you're competing, there's no point in eating bland, boiled, sad food. Like,
Even they.
no, so apparently, spices, and see, sodium is the one that causes bloat, but spices are known to spike your insulin a little. So before their competitions, people usually avoid a few spices so that their insulin doesn't spike
Right,
and
like
sodium doesn't bloat.
this photo shoot thing, I remember as much as I can. My water intake was low. 7 days before, my carb intake was low. On the last day, it bumps up. The carb intake bumps up and all those things. But that's the most hardest time, like the competition day or photo.
Water cuts are the worst. Competition day, the previous day is bad. Like, I hate water cuts so much. I tried it once. Ugh. I kudos to people who compete. I don't think I will ever be able to compete or have that mindset. Like,
You
I
don't have
literally
that.
have to stay
You don't
late.
have any future plans of competing, like in the future.
I had plans of competing. I Before this whole Corona thing happened, I had plans of competing. I was thinking of competing in November in IHFF, Amateur Olympia. I started prepping last December itself because it would have been my first time, and I wanted to cut and see what I look like, and then decide. And by in March, I had reached my lowest weight, which was 58 kgs. I was never 58 kgs, and I was pulling about 110 kgs for about 3 to 4 reps. So, like, I was the strongest I was and the leanest I was. I was pulling twice my body weight on most of my lifts. And then Corona happened and everything went down the drain. So now I have put on 6 kgs. I regret it, but
Yeah, I saw the photos of your. I asked even that are you competing that time. I commented on your photo. I
I
understood.
was so lean, man. I had my abs and stuff. Sovic, you will not believe I have put on 6 kgs, man. I was 58. Today I'm 64.
That's good. Even I put on 10 kgs. Nothing much.
You,
Actually, my
all
diet is
my
like.
clients are so much more disciplined than I am. This other guy that I posted, he's lost 10 kgs, man. 10 whole kgs. And I'm like, every day I'm so amazed by his discipline and dedication.
Actually, the thing is, right now after this whole lockdown thing happened, because I am not motivated towards this home workout. I'm literally saying that I'm not motivated.
I know, same here. Don't feel like doing it at all. Like, I drag myself and go, I lift something. I'll be like, oh, this feels so bad. Like,
I haven't lifted from the last 3 to 4 weeks. I guess I haven't lifted a weight. Nothing.
oh, you haven't? I just lifted before you called. I bought a bar and 5 kgs, and I was like, you know what? I have to. It's been so long. So what I do is I send my clients workouts 5 to 6 days a week. So because of that, I work out so that they work out. So that kind of keeps me motivated. So maybe you should do that too.
I'm actually starting my home transformation. I think tomorrow or day after tomorrow, by making some plates. I'm making my own home gym right now. There's nothing to do.
They're opening gyms in Bangalore from Monday.
You're lucky. I don't know mind if they are going to open.
I'm not going. That's what I told my clients to don't go because it's too risky. Don't put yourself at risk just to go lift weights. Like, I love it, I get it, but not worth it.
The time that's happening right now, I think everyone should stay at home and stay safe.
Stay at home. Definitely. Like, don't go outside, don't venture outside because you will find time later to go lift your weights and do whatever you want. But right now, especially if you stay with your family, don't put them at risk. Please stay home. Like, all of you, just stay home. You too, stay home.
Yeah, I'm trying my best to stay at home. Uh, Only sometimes, I'm just going out because I need to buy those weight plates and nothing all. I'm staying at home. I want also my audience who are watching this to stay at home and stay safe.
Yeah, guys, please do. Don't go anywhere unless it's essential and you actually need to get something. Please stay home. It's very important that you do right now.
So this was a lovely conversation with Snigdha. Thank you for being on this first episode of this new series, Rising Stars. And I hope you like this video. Share this video with your on your social media platforms, and also follow Snigdha Ravi. I will put down the link down below of her Instagram ID. Thank you for watching this video.